So here we're using substitution to solve a system of equations. So if we look at number 24, we need to find an expression for one variable to plug in to the other equation. So right here we've got x equals y over 4 plus 1, and here we got y equals 4x minus 5. If we were to substitute 4x minus 5 in for y, that would give us x equals, and then instead of y we'd write 4x minus 5 over 4 plus 1. Now before we go any further, I want to see what would happen if we substituted the other way. If we substituted y over 4 plus 1 in for x in the bottom equation, and you can do either one. So if I take the bottom equation, y equals 4 times, and then substitute for x, y over 4 plus 1, and then minus 5. And then I want to look at these two equations and say which one's going to be easier for me to solve. And I think for me, this equation would be easier to solve because I notice that when I'm distributing the 4 through these parentheses, it's going to cancel with the denominator here. 4y over 4 is just going to be y. So then I get y equals, let's see, 4y over 4 is just y, and then 4 times 1 is 4, so that's plus 4, and then just minus 5 off the end. So I get y equals y, and then combining like terms here, that's 4 minus 5 is negative 1. And then if I subtract y from both sides, I get 0 equals negative 1. And that's a problem because 0 never equals negative 1. That means that no matter what I put in for y, I'll never get a true equation here, because there's no number that you can put in for y, like say 7. 7 is not going to be equal to 7 minus 1. Right here you can kind of tell that we're not going to get a solution. No number is equal to 1 less than itself. So basically when all the variables cancel out and you get something that's not true, the answer is no solution. There's no variables that there's no value that we could plug in for these variables that would give us a true solution. Now, you don't have to do this part, but I just want to show you that if you had solved this one, you would get the same thing. Here we can break up this 4x minus 5 over the denominator. So that'll be 4x over 4 minus 5 over 4. And we would get x equals x, and then negative 5 over 4 plus 1, that's plus 4 over 4, so that's negative 1/4. And there's no number that we can plug in for x that's going to be equal to 1/4 less than itself. And so if we were to subtract x from both sides, we would get 0 equals negative 1/4, which is never true, so we get no solution.